Halloween! I have skeleton hands. They're tiny. Hey, welcome to Pockets Full of Soup. I'm your host, Jared Petty. Trick or treat to all of you on this Halloween episode. And before we get started, just a few thanks we want to give out. First, to Panda Musk, who designed that cartoon that you saw with me being devoured by spiders. Panda did that a while ago and sent it to me and allowed us to use it on the show. Thanks, Panda. You're great. Also, to Mark Fahrenhold, Tom Hawkins, Robbie Suave, who create the assets, lower thirds, and graphics and intro and music for the show. Thank you guys so much for that. Every week, you make the show better. Thank you so much. Also, to our Patreon producers, Xavier Saint-Amand Tremblay and Robert Nieder. Also, a few thank yous I want to read here at the beginning of the episode. First, from Kyle Hatton, I want to thank my dad, Daryl, and God for saving me from heroin addiction. Thank you, Kyle. I don't know the story behind that, but I appreciate you sharing that with us. Again, Kyle thanking his father and God for overcoming his heroin addiction. Beyond that, Trevor wants to say, in the spirit of Lexus's episode, I want to thank Lin-Manuel Miranda, a man I've never met, but one whose passion and artistry inspire me every day. From Evans, I would be absolutely nothing without my mom. She pushes me and reminds me to chase my dreams, no matter how ridiculous they may seem to others. For that, I thank her. From Ross, we had an episode recently about our favorite teachers. If you haven't seen that episode with Chris Kohler yet, I recommend you watch it. He has a really neat story about his favorite teacher. And here's a couple of teachers Ross is thankful for. First, Dr. Gerald Geneseo, retired professor of sociology at Wofford College. I hope I spelled that or pronounced that correctly. Once again, Dr. Gerald Geneseo, retired professor of sociology at Wofford College, who he said, I was forever changed and grateful in regard to him. And second, Gunnery Sergeant Lysander Henry of the United States Marine Corps retired. Gunny saw things in me that I had never seen, and took the time to bring them out. Without his ROT instruction in high school, I can't imagine where I'd be today. So that's a few thank yous, and you can send your thank yous to mail@pocketsfulofsoup.com. I'll try to keep them short if you would, please, and we really enjoy reading those. Thank you so much for watching. A slight change up in this episode from the schedule seen before. Both Miranda Sanchez and my wife weren't feeling great this week, so we decided not to get two sick people in one house at the same time to film the episode. So we're switching Miranda's episode, which was scheduled for this month, with my friend Khalilah Alston's episode, which was planned for next month. They're switching over, so we're airing Khalilah's episode today on Halloween, and Miranda's will be next month instead. Thank you guys very much for watching and listening. Enjoy the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Pockets Full of Soup. I'm your host, Jared Petty, joined today by Khalilah Alston.
Hello, I'm Khalilah Alston.
Representing the fair state of Delaware.
Yes, the first state.
The first state?
Not the best state.
Not the best?
It's okay.
Wait, tell us a Delaware fact that non-Delawareites might not know.
Oh. Well, I always say it's the first state. The bird of the state is the blue hen.
The blue hen?
Which is a chicken.
Is it blue?
Probably. I don't know if I've actually seen one.
No, wait, you have a state bird that's called a blue hen and you never investigated to see if it's blue?
I mean, I think the painting of it has like blue feathers.
Where's the painting?
In Delaware.
Is it on Delaware money?
No.
No? You
Delaware.
guys don't have your own money?
No.
I wasn't sure how things worked in Delaware.
No one ever does.
That's actually not true. I've been to Delaware. You have fine beaches in Delaware.
Yes,
yeah,
we do. Yeah. Then we have some beaches that sound like there's Broadkill.
Broadkill?
Yeah.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it sounds very terrifying.
A Broadkill? That sounds almost like a D&D monster or something.
Yeah.
Like the owlbears, and then we went to the dungeon and fought some Broadkills.
I imagine fish for some reason.
Did you ever play Dungeons and Dragons?
No, the closest I've ever been to playing was the time we played the Star Wars version.
So, Khalilah, we know one another. We've been friends for a long time now.
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years, and almost. We met. You work at Ye Old
IGN.
Ye Old IGN. That's right.
Hello.
And at IGN, people I think know some of the IGN editors, but they may not know that there's more than one kind of editor at IGN.
Yes, I am a video editor. So a lot of the videos that you guys see, like reviews and things like that, there's like post-production team and video editors. We work together to try and make little videos. You watched the No Man's Sky review, I edited that. And a lot of the Comic History 101s, I edit those for Scott Calora.
And you just edit all kinds of things. So, and just you finish one project and move on to the next.
Yeah,
right? Constantly.
Constantly.
All right.
I did a few of your Star Wars ones too.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Oh,
thank you.
Okay. We're going to take a moment here to pause and thank our Patreon producers, Robert Nieder and Xavier Saint-Amand Tremblay. Thank both of you so much for your continued support that keeps this show going. So thank you there. And also to all our Patreon supporters, a thank you. Now, Khalilah. So you are a video editor. You are from the state of Delaware, the Diamond State.
Yes, the Diamond State.
The Diamond State. And any other intense Khalilah facts that we want to get out of the way before we jump into the first question?
About me?
Yeah.
I was actually born in North Dakota.
You were born in North Dakota.
Yeah.
And raised in Delaware.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell us of the land of North Dakota?
Not much. The state flowers, the sunflower. It was the sunflower state, I think, actually.
Okay, so sunflowers and blue hens.
Yeah, sunflowers are my favorite flower. Minot Air Force Base is where I was born.
No, Minots are those things they shot off the Millennium Falcon in Empire Strikes Back, aren't they?
Well, wasn't that my destiny?
Those are Minox. Minox, yeah. It does. So Minot, that's a town in North Dakota?
Yeah,
okay.
And Bismarck's the capital.
Bismarck.
I think.
Okay, so you think?
I mean,
you're really good at geography. You're like, here's the state hen, and here's fun facts about. We should just start. This could be like our geography show.
Oh yeah, I in middle school I was a part of a geography bee, like trying to make it. I made it to everybody in class had to take a geography test, and then I made it to like the second round, and then I didn't make it after that.
But you were in the second round of the geography bee.
Yeah.
So Khalilah Alston, video editor, second round geography bee contestant, all around good gal, and wearing a Sanderson Sisters shirt.
Because I love Hocus Pocus.
Who doesn't?
I love Hocus Pocus. Just in case you didn't hear.
Hocus Pocus is beautiful. So, Khalilah, we move on to the first question of the night. Always the same, until I decide to change it. Tell me about somebody you're thankful for.
I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my parents. But I definitely want to say that I'm thankful for my dad.
So it's your dad you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
I thought you were moving into an academy answer there. We get those every now and then. There's like, I'd like to thank all the... And you want to thank lots and lots of people because it's great to thank people.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about your dad.
Yeah.
All right. So you're like, yay. Oh, that was awesome. It's like, Dad, yay.
Yeah, Dad, yay.
So he's a good dad?
Yeah, he's a good dad.
He's a good dad. Let's find out a little bit about your dad here. You chose your father. You're thankful for your family, but you chose your father. What's your dad's name?
Roy Alston Jr.
And Roy, where's he from?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Oh, whereabouts?
Burlington, Greensboro area.
Okay, not too far from where I actually used to live. He's from a little east of me.
Oh yes.
And he was born there, in North Carolina. Okay. How long did he live there?
He grew up there and graduated high school there.
Okay.
So at least up until he was 18.
Okay, and once he graduated high school, what's your dad's vocation? What's he do?
My dad is a retired United States Air Force. So he did that for he definitely did it for 20 years. I don't know if he did it for any longer than that.
But he went career.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was a career Air Force. So are you a brat?
Yes, I'm an Air Force brat.
You're an Air Force brat. No kidding. So how often did you move around?
I was not that lucky. We went from North Dakota to Delaware. My parents, they met in Orlando, and my dad, I don't know if he got stationed anywhere in between that and then going to Alaska, because that's where my parents got married.
So they met in Orlando. Your dad was in the Air Force already.
Yeah.
And then he and your mom met in Orlando. How'd they meet? Was your mom from Orlando?
No, my mom's from the Caribbean. She's from Antigua.
From Antigua?
Yeah.
What can you tell? Okay, so you know Delaware facts and you know North Dakota facts. What's an Antigua fact?
It's really small.
Okay.
It shares a flag with Barbuda.
Barbuda?
Yeah.
But is that a place? I don't know Barbuda.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, it's Barbuda because no one ever. It's Antigua and Barbuda.
Really?
Yeah.
And
they're
they
really
both have a
small, and they're next to each other.
Are they sovereign nations, each of them? Or do they have one government?
I don't know, because the country was owned. Antigua was owned by the British up until whenever the Queen decided to give up Antigua.
It's like, no, you guys can have Antigua now. Back. So, people of Antigua, have your nation. I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's where the British did that a lot for a while.
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. Although we still have a couple of those too. We have Guam, for example.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of and the Marshall Islands and a few other places. But so have you been to Antigua?
Yeah, I've been twice. What's really interesting is that everybody talks about when you're like really young, like baby 1, 2, 3, you don't remember any of those memories. But the first time I went to Antigua, I was 3, and I may not remember everything, but I remember like how colorful certain buildings were. And my mom said that I had a Cabbage Patch Kid and I was dragging it on the ground, apparently, because I was low to the ground.
Well, you do that, when you're small.
You're small, you're really close.
When you pull it behind. Sure.
So I have that memory of me being there. And then the second time I went, I was 12.
Okay, so you went back when you were 12, but it's funny what our earliest memories are.
Yeah.
One of my earliest memories is going to like the Orkin Insect Museum, apparently. I remember
That seems traumatizing.
Yeah, that might explain a lot of how I feel about spiders.
Yeah, spiders are the worst.
But you remember going to Antigua, and so your mom and dad met in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Had your mom immigrated to the States by then, or was she visiting, or?
That I'm not 100% sure about. I don't know if she was living there. I know she had family here, so I know that she probably was staying with like uncles or whatever. And then I know she moved to New York. I mean, they broke up and she moved to New York.
Okay, so they were in Orlando, they broke up, she moved to New York.
And then while my dad was in Alaska, I guess he realized he loved my mom, and that's where they got married.
So did he go to New York and be like, let's
No, I think they wrote a letter.
He wrote a letter?
Because that's what people used to do. They use paper and pencil, and they write on paper.
It's kind of anachronistic. When's the last time you wrote a letter?
Probably a year ago. I write on cards and sometimes send it to my sisters.
Yeah, I haven't written letters. I haven't spoken correctly. I haven't written letters in a long time. And then for the show, actually, we do a pen pal thing
cool.
on Patreon. And so I'm writing letters again. It's fun. I forgot it was fun.
Yeah, it's super weird because I feel like a lot of times when you're writing stuff down, you want to word vomit. Like you just want to write everything down, and then you're just like, wait, I need to step back a little bit.
Yeah, I have a paper limit here. I can only go so far before we're on to another sheet. And it does affect it. So he wrote her a letter. Yeah. So they met in Orlando, and then they broke up. She went to New York. He went to Alaska. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, nope, I'm in love. He wrote
apparently.
Do you still have that letter? Have you ever seen it?
No, I've never seen it. I've seen the picture from their wedding because they got married in the North Pole by Mrs. Claus.
What? So, what?
Yeah.
Please continue with this story.
I don't know.
They got married at the North Pole by Mrs. Claus?
Yeah, so in Alaska, because my dad was stationed in Alaska and in Anchorage. Yeah, so they got married. There's this place called the North Pole, and Mrs. Claus was the one who married them. So if I ever get married, I need to
go to the North Pole. Okay, is the North Pole a town or part of Anchorage?
I think it's a building. Because what was really weird is I've seen a picture of the outside of the building, and then like one of my friends from like middle school, high school, she's married, and I guess they might have been stationed in Alaska for a bit, and I saw this picture of an outside of a place on the North Pole, and I'm pretty 100% sure it's the same picture my parents have. So that's the only reason why I know it's a place.
Building where you go to get married?
I think it's like, I don't know, it's Alaska. It's really cold. I don't.
Okay, so you have the North Pole and Mrs. Claus. Like, are we talking like was her name Mrs. Claus?
It is the Mrs. Claus.
Okay, so you're
Santa's wife.
Was she like in like the gown and the little glasses?
I assume so. There wasn't any picture of it.
Just the building. There's a picture of the building, but not a picture
of the building, and there's a picture of my parents inside of the building, but there's no picture. I mean, if there is, I feel like she was dressed up because I feel like they're like I'm visually seeing something.
Have your parents ever explained to you why they chose to be married by Mrs. Claus?
I don't know, actually. So like, but
Khalilah, do you know your parents?
I have parents. No, I'm just kidding. No, I do, but it's like it's a lot of like finding stuff out in pictures and like talking to them and a little bit. But I do so like, my parents had for their 10-year wedding anniversary, they actually had a wedding.
Okay.
So I was the flower girl. So that there's like a lot more pictures of that.
They had like a second wedding 10 years later.
Yeah, because they didn't have like they were in Alaska, no parents were there.
Right,
it was just them.
So they got married by Mrs. Claus at the North Pole in Alaska, which is awesome. Then 10 years later, you were a flower girl in their wedding.
So there's like pictures.
Aww.
Yeah.
How old were you then?
I think I was 6. I had a little sister by the time I was 7.
Are you the oldest child?
Middle.
You're in the middle. Ooh,
Yeah.
Who came first?
My older sister, Therese.
Okay, and you have a younger sister now.
Yeah.
So 3 sisters, all
Yep.
girls.
Yep.
No boys?
No boys.
Oh, man, so you had him outnumbered. Okay.
It's true.
Yep. And so your father and your mother got married in Alaska. You came along at North Dakota, eventually to Delaware. So we've been talking a little background here, but let me ask you, you said you were thankful for your father. Out of all your family, that's the person you chose to talk about. Why your dad? What are you so thankful for about your father?
For making me fiercely independent.
Fiercely independent. All right.
And it's a weird thing, but also somehow me ending up being a video editor, even though I didn't know I wanted to be a video editor.
Okay, let's tell these 2 stories. Let's start
Okay.
with fiercely independent, then let's go to video editor. Okay.
Cool.
How did your father teach you to be fiercely independent?
One of the things that my dad has always said to me was like, anytime I would be like, oh, I can't do this, like something was too hard, he would be like, no, you can do it, you just don't want to do it.
Oh.
So I had to learn at a very young age was that, like, to separate the two.
Did that irritate you or did it intrigue you as a kid?
Probably both. Because I'm like, what do you mean? I said I can't do it. Of course I can't do it. But what it really taught me was that I can do whatever I want. I just have to work at it.
Do you remember a specific time him telling you this? Like something that he challenged you about in this regard? Something that he came at you and just like, hey, listen, this particular situation, I want to make this.
I don't have a distinct memory of it, of him saying that to me, because I'm pretty sure he said that to me when I was super little.
Yeah. But you remember it sticking in your head.
Yeah, because like, because then my memories after that is always something like, me always wanting to do things or be active. Like, I wanted to join chorus, so I did. I wanted to play the flute, so I did.
When you were hearing his voice in the course of this, or like in the back of your head, or
it was kind of like, well, I don't know if it was hearing his voice as much as like after that I was just like, I want to do this, so I'm going to figure out how to do this.
Okay.
And then like, my dad was super supportive in most things. The one thing that was weird was that I actually started playing the flute a year later than everybody else, because in Delaware you start, or at least in the school district I was in at the time, you started playing the flute in you started playing an instrument in the 5th grade.
Okay.
And I somehow got in my head that my parents aren't going to pay for an instrument. Those things are expensive.
Really? That just got into your head there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess I blocked myself. So I was just like, oh, I don't know if they'll let me do that. I was already in chorus.
So you just didn't talk to him about it?
No, I just decided not. I made that decision for them, and then I decided not to.
So what changed? Why'd you get into it a year later?
I don't even know. Like,
was your father surprised to learn you had the option to play the flute?
No, I was just kind of like, I decided I decided I wanted to play the flute starting in the 6th grade, and I was in chorus, so I went to the 6th grade chorus teacher because he was also the band director, and I was like, I want to play the flute. And he was like, well, there's already a band, and it's, if you find other people that want to learn an instrument, then I will do that. And then, so from there, like I think what happened was I talked to my dad or my parents, and I was just kind of like, I want to play the flute, but everybody started a year before.
Yeah.
Is this like, they were supportive about it. They were like, okay, yeah, you can learn an instrument. And so then I think I probably went to the band director then, and I was just like, I asked him, and he was like, find me people. And I did. I found a saxophonist and a drummer, and I think 2 other people. Like, a trumpet and somebody else. And we formed a band, which was in the 6th grade, and my dad was retiring from the military.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the reason that's important is because I only learned 6 notes or so. I learned how to play Jingle Bells. I performed it, and then we moved off. We still lived. So we were stationed in Dover Air Force Base. My dad retired, but we stayed in Dover.
Okay.
And so we moved off base, and I went to a different school district. And when we had that meeting for like, oh, does she do anything? My dad was like, she's in band. And I looked at him like, I only know 6 notes, guys. And they were like, we're going to put you in band.
We're going to put you in band.
Yeah.
And that's how you ended up in band for the rest
of
your
my
natural life?
Yeah,
right?
like from middle school, high school. My college didn't have a band, so I didn't play the flute there.
But you're still deeply associated with music. You dance.
Yeah, I dance, and I play the flute for this ballet company called the Kathy Mana Ballet.
Okay.
So sometimes, like right now, I'm not playing anything for them, but sometimes I play for them.
Let's go back to the other thing. You talked about your dad made you a video editor. How in the world did that happen?
So, what was really awesome about being a kid in the 80s was that you ended up going to the movies, seeing movies that you probably shouldn't have seen with your parents.
That did happen a lot in the 80s. Why is that? Were our parents negligent, or were movies different?
Movies were totally different. Like, movies killed children when we were kids. Like, PG-13 movies killed children.
They did. That's true. I got to be careful about the spoiler alertage, but there's certain shows on right now that are throwbacks to the 80s, and one of the things I enjoy is they're not afraid to put children in peril.
Yeah.
If you don't watch Stranger Things, it's all about putting children in deathly situations.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's very a throwback to that, but continue.
But one of the things that in my household that we did, because my older sister, she was like, she's 11 years older than me. She watched MTV, and like we watched BET together, and like she would record her music videos, like we record music videos and movies on the VHS or VCR.
That's a lot of acronyms.
Yeah.
You got VHS, VCR, BET, and what else?
MTV.
And MTV.
It used to play music.
Yeah, they did on music television. All right, so you'd watch MTV and BET, grab videos off both of those.
Yeah, so like I watched them do that, and I decided I wanted to record my shows, which was He-Man, Gem and the Holograms, Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I recorded some awesome episodes. Like I recorded a Pee Wee's Playhouse that has Lawrence Fishburne, because he was the cowboy.
Yeah, Cowboy Curtis.
Cowboy Curtis, and he went by Larry at the time.
Right.
And also in that same episode, one of the girls who was in American Pie.
Oh, no kidding.
So not Tara Reid, but her friend who was blonde. I don't remember her name.
I forget her name, but I know who you're talking about. She was on Pee Wee's Playhouse?
Yeah, it was like her and another kid. They would stop by every once in a while.
No, I did not realize that.
Yeah.
So you wanted to record your stuff?
Yeah, so my dad, he showed me how. And it wasn't like I'm like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So he wasn't like super complicated about it. He was like, here's the remote. Here's how you hit stop. Mm-hmm. You hit record. And that's all you really need. And then, I could read. I was like, figuring out how to rewind and all that stuff. So he just taught me how to just hit record and to hit stop when I didn't want to record anymore.
Okay.
But I was smart enough to know on my own that I didn't want commercials. Which I feel like as a kid at that age, you would just like hit record and just record whatever you want.
Sure.
But like if you look, I actually really wanted to get this VHS tape onto DVD or something so I could like, I have like awesome things on there.
We need to do a transfer.
I need to do a transfer of it. And I just knew that I didn't want commercials. So I was like, oh, pause. Like I figured out how to do stuff. And then I hit the pause button, and so I wouldn't have any commercials unless I really liked the commercial and I wanted to record it.
In which case you would choose to include it.
Yeah.
So you were customizing what was on the tape.
Yeah, so I was customizing my tape, but all my dad ever showed me was to hit stop and record.
So you're like 4 or 5. Were you proud of this? Did you show your dad? You're like, what I did?
Yeah, well, it was just like, I don't even know if I did that. I was just like, ooh, like, if anything, it was just like, let's watch Pee Wee's Playhouse. Or like, I don't even know what channel the Jackson 5 cartoons were on, because I was definitely... Like the Jackson 5 cartoons are old, so they were replaying them at this point. So like I had some of those. So which they're so awesome to watch.
I forgot those ever happened.
I have them on VHS.
Okay. So you were recording all these things off television. Your dad had shown you how to record, but you were trimming the commercials out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So gradually, I assume you started experimenting with the VCR more beyond that, like figuring out what you could do with it as you got older. Or?
No, I just that was what I did. And then, video games.
And then video games. So when did learning that you could trim things off turn into 2 stacked VCRs, or deciding you wanted to go into video editing? How did that happen?
I didn't realize that's what I wanted to do until my senior year of high school.
Okay.
But I somehow it was like this roundabout thing that I realized that must have inspired me. Because when I was in my senior year of high school, they brought in video production. So there was no video production until
then.
Up till then.
All right.
And so during my senior year, I didn't have a car. So band was at eighth period, which was at the end of the day, and I had to take English, which is at the beginning of the day.
Okay.
And so I'm going to be stuck at school. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take Spanish 4. And then they brought in dance as well. So I was like, I'll take dance. And video production, this seems cool. So I took those things.
So video production comes in.
And it's like, we don't even have a real classroom. We're sharing the room with home ec.
Yeah.
And then there's this closet where they set up the equipment.
Yeah. What were you editing on?
It was VHS, but
Okay.
it was weird, but because it wasn't like 2 tapes at this point, it was like, it was a system that could actually, maybe it was 2 tapes. So long ago.
It was just some kind of custom equipment.
Yeah.
Was it an Amiga video toaster setup or something different? Because that was what my high school had.
It was weird because it was like, it looked like it was a locker.
Yeah.
And it had everything set up in it.
Right, all racked.
All
Yeah.
racked. And then that's how you recorded. And then there was a screen. And so, like, you'd have to do everything in steps. So, for instance, one of our projects was to take a storybook and record each page of the storybook, kind of like a Reading Rainbow thing, and then add music to it.
Okay.
So you had to, like, do it in its own thing. So, like, we had a camera, and I would record the page turns and read the book. And then I read it in my head, and then I recorded my voice reading the pages.
Okay.
And then I could use any music, so I, of course, used Jamiroquai.
This is the first moment in 20 years I have thought of Jamiroquai.
You're welcome. That album is good. And you can still listen to it.
I forgot about that.
Oh, God.
So your dad,
Because he had, like, yeah.
he hands you that remote control. You end up, you tell that your memory comes back to you decades later. You're like, well, why not? I'll make a life out of this. And now
Yeah.
you love it. Like, this is
Yeah.
what you do.
Well, it was like this click of, like, wait, I can control what people watch. And it was just like, and I understood the concept. And it was just like, my dad was always like, go to the movies or go outside or play video games. He was very just like, he didn't tell me no. Like, it's like, I know in the industry now for video games, it's super weird because guys are like, girls don't play video games. I mean, it's gotten a lot better, but like, my dad didn't tell me that. I'm sure my dad got the NES system so he could play games on it too, but he also got us games and we all played it together.
So your dad played games too?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do
So-
you guys ever play together?
Yes, our family game is Grand Theft Auto.
Expound.
So we started with was it PlayStation 2? Yeah. Grand Theft Auto 3. My dad definitely got that game for himself.
Yeah.
But my sister and I are pretty talented, so my dad would get stuck and he would be like, "Hey, like he would go to work and he would call and be like, "Hey," like definitely during the summer when we're just like staying at home,
Yeah.
my dad would be like, "Hey guys, I pushed pause on the Grand Theft Auto game. I got stuck in this mission. Why don't you try to do it?" And sometimes my dad literally would pause in the middle of a mission, so it was like, oh crap.
Okay. So you guys would go, and did you say this was 3 or San Andreas?
3.
3. Okay. So you go in, take GTA 3 guys, solve the thing. Your dad would come back. keep
Yeah,
playing.
well, we could play as long as we want. So like we would play together and then we'd get really close to, we were like, oh snap, it's getting near the end. So we would all be playing together, and my dad was actually the one who beat 3.
Yeah.
And then Vice City. It's Vice City next.
Okay.
I beat Vice City. And my little sister beat San Andreas.
But this was all like a collaborative effort.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was a
that's really
collaborative
cool.
effort. At least for that game, Mario Brothers, and like, because we went from the NES to the SNES to PlayStation, PlayStation 2. So, not that I didn't try to get the other systems, because
Right,
I'd asked
but you
them for
did what you
Christmas.
could, yeah.
I did what I could.
What drives your dad crazy about you?
As of now, nothing. But when I was a kid, my dad and I used to butt heads all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Talk about this.
I was just like, when I was little, like I was good in school. Like I did what I needed to do. It wasn't that I didn't do my homework. Like I would try, or if I wasn't allowed to bring bad grades home. Like my dad was like, our last name begins with A, you're only allowed to bring A's home. And I was like,
whoa, okay.
like I did my best.
So he pushed you there.
Yeah, he pushed me. And sometimes, I mean, it got we butt heads a lot, especially with school. And
were you butting heads because you felt like you were doing less than you could, or did you butt heads because you felt like he was pushing you too hard, or where'd the headbutting come from?
I think it's all of the above. Like, I think it was like I would try. Some things were just too hard for me.
Yeah.
And then my dad would be like, I don't understand why you're bringing this grade home. Like, you need to try harder. And I'm just like, I am trying. Like, I just don't understand it.
What about the other way around? What drives you crazy about your dad?
What drove me crazy, I think, was, I guess a particular story that I could definitely pinpoint was when I switched school districts from when my dad retired from the Air Force. The school I went to was different because, like, I grew up on base, so I was used to people moving. Like, I'm not accustomed to having someone, like a childhood friend from, like, little to adulthood. It's always been, like, people would move and whatever. So, like, I'm sure everyone going into a new school, it's always, like, it's really hard to make friends and stuff like that. So, teachers were very interesting. So, the team that I was on, one of the teachers wasn't really nice, and I participated in other things. Like, I was in drama, so I did plays at the school, and one time, one of these plays, we actually had practice during the school day, which all the teachers knew because they handed out a list with all our names on it. I wasn't doing good in this teacher's class, or doing well, and my parents had a teacher-parent conference with her, and she lied and said that I skipped class. I've never skipped class in my entire life, not until college.
So why did she do that, do you think?
She was mean. She was, I don't want to say what she was, but she was not a nice person, and she picked favorites. She did things that teachers shouldn't do when it comes to, like,
just a very petty and kind of
conniving.
Yeah,
she was very petty and very conniving. Like, one time she yelled at me about having detention, and I didn't have detention with her. And she not really dragged me, but she made me go out of the classroom. And then comes to find out, she thought it was the other black girl in the class. She realized it was the other black girl in the classroom who she gave detention to. Ooh. So that was fun. Yeah. And so then she didn't even apologize. She was just like, well, it wasn't you. And I was just like, I never really got detention. It was just like this. It was just a weird time for me.
So she said you weren't
I was skipping class. And my dad believed her over me. And so there was, like, a lot of that when it came to, like, school and stuff. It was just like my dad would, obviously you're going to believe another adult over a child. But if I'm telling you I've never skipped a class before.
No, that's hard. I think about my parents. It sounds like your father's just a wonderful guy.
Yeah, he is.
But sometimes parents get it wrong, even with the best of intentions. And that my parents, I can think of an instance in particular, also school related, like that, where there were two conflicting accounts, and they went with the grown-up, and in that case, they were wrong. So that comes to mind. Have you ever talked with him about it since? Like,
oh, I definitely bring it up. The best part is, like, when you were in trouble and you used to get spankings when you were a child, and I'm like, do you remember when you did this? And they're like, oh, we didn't do that to you. And you're just like, my butt remembers. Which is probably phrasing. Because I remember when I was getting in trouble and, like, my like, your butt would get warm. It's like the weirdest.
How often did you get spanked?
Oh, I think a lot. My parents think not that much.
You don't happen to remember all of them. All right, yeah. I was wondering.
Apparently I was traumatized.
For more on this.
For more on accounts of my butt. I'm sorry.
What's the best thing about your dad?
He's loving, supportive. This is going to sound so weird. So because my mom didn't grow up in America, there's certain things that, like trick-or-treating, my mom's just like, I don't do that. I don't believe in that. But my dad was like, this is an American pastime. I'm taking my kid trick-or-treating.
Oh, tell me about this.
Yeah, so my dad was super, super cool. Like, I remember, so I loved Raggedy Ann and Andy. And so my first memory of costumes is definitely, like, kindergarten, first grade, I was Raggedy Ann as well. And he would get a brown paper bag. My dad actually can draw really well. And I remember him drawing a paper bag as Frankenstein, and we went out trick-or-treating that way.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So he drew a Frankenstein paper bag, and he carried or put on?
Put on.
So your dad went in costume with this big paper bag with you.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. My dad was supportive in sport, and he let me I played basketball my freshman year of high school. It was a bench warmer, but my dad was super supportive.
He was there anyway. He was there for the games to watch you sit on the bench.
Yeah, he would just he helped me practice sometimes, and I worked really hard. I think because I was a bench warmer, I didn't learn the game of basketball as well as I could have. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's fine. I ended up playing soccer, which I love more.
What's your dad up to now?
My dad is he works for the state of Delaware.
Oh.
He works for Fleet. I know what it's called. It's weird because I don't fully understand it, but it's I know he helps with vehicles for other state jobs, like making sure specific people have vehicles for specific times.
Isn't it weird when people have jobs that you don't know what they are?
Yeah, I don't even understand what my older sister does.
No.
I mean, I know that she moves cranes, construction vehicles around the world.
Yeah.
But that's about as far as I know. I'm a bad sibling.
No, I
don't even think they understand what I do.
No, I mean, video editor, I think a lot of people don't actually understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't completely, I watch you over there doing things with multiple drives, and I'm just like, I don't understand the tracks. What is Avid, and why doesn't it ever work?
Well, that's because it's Avid. I love Avid. Avid is my first love for video editing systems, but she's very finicky.
She's a finicky lover.
Yes.
She's a fickle lover.
My dad will be like, "You're going to be the next Spike Lee." And I'm just like, "Dad, I'm a video editor. I'm not a director." And he was like, "Well, you'll never know." And I'm just like, But
editing is powerful in film, right? I mean,
yeah, it's actually, editing is super awesome. And so what's really funny is that when film started over 100 years ago, video editors were women.
What?
Yeah, we cut reels. Women, it was women editors. It wasn't men.
That was cultural?
It was. I guess it was men were in charge of directors and producers, and women.
It was common for female to edit. I did not know this.
Yeah, so it was common for females to be video editors, and but I feel like the most famous video editor everybody always remembers is Walter Murch, which is totally fine because he's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at remembering all video editors because we're all hidden.
Well, I mean, that's part. I think about something like Mad Max Fury Road from last year. Which, yes, it's brilliantly directed, but the editing.
Yeah,
just makes
you
that movie
want to know
work.
something awesome about that? So the director of it, that's his wife who video edited, and she's not a action film editor. She edited documentaries and stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's the baddest. She's the best.
And she did that. What might be the best action movie of the last 10 years?
Yeah, I love.
It might be. I think it is.
Yeah. I because
that's amazing.
Because I feel like I love action films, and I understand that we all are in that spot where everything's fast cuts when it comes to action because you have to hide things, but at the same time, she showed everything, that whole movie, everything from top to bottom. Everybody who created Mad Max, the Fury Road, it's awesome.
Is there, if you could edit a dream project, what kind of thing would you want to work on?
I don't know. I do want to edit film and television. I'm a little scared because the process of how to become a film video editor has kind of changed in the years, as all jobs have. Because it used to be you'd become an apprentice and then you would grow and learn that way. But that's kind of changed. So I went to school. My undergrad was media arts, so it was super broad. And then I decided to go to grad school to help me move cross country, as well as to help me focus on editing so I could learn the process better. Okay. And that's how I ended up here and figuring out that that's what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. In grad school, it was definitely narratives. And that's kind of the direction I would like to go in.
Move into narrative, because right now a lot of what you do is commentary, gameplay, things like that.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I love video games, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, it's a fun job.
Yeah.
But you'd like to try to do something like that eventually. That's really cool. All right, Khalilah, we're going to move into the instant noodles round. Are you ready? And we've also gotten some help. Some folks in the Pockets Full of Soup Facebook group, which you can be a part of if you want, just by going to the Pockets Full of Soup Facebook group, have added a couple of instant noodles for this week. So we got a couple of extra user-submitted questions. We're going to start with those first. From Abraham, which celebrity, dead or alive, would you choose to narrate your life? For me, that's Abraham, it's the movie trailer guy, since he has an awesome voice.
Yes.
Who do you want to narrate your life? What human being, living or dead, would you like to narrate the story of your life?
I'm pretty sure the person I'm going to mention, everybody wants him to narrate their life, and it's Morgan Freeman.
You want Morgan Freeman? This is
His voice is so distinct.
It is very distinct.
I mean, I could say Snoop Dogg, but I feel like that'd be weird. I feel like Morgan Freeman.
Snoop Dogg would be amazing. What are you talking about?
I mean, he'd be amazing, but I don't know. I don't know if my life is that exciting for Snoop Dogg.
I think your life is plenty exciting, but still, Morgan Freeman would be amazing.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg would be amazing. Man, wow, I can't decide between those two. And as we all learned from South Park, every time Morgan Freeman explains a plot line, he gets a new freckle. So there's that too. You ever seen that episode? No.
I'm really bad at watching South Park.
They explain that's why Morgan Freeman is always explaining the plots of movies.
Okay.
Then we have somebody else who asks, I believe there's a typo in here, but it says, Matthew asks, what is best sandwich? I think it means what is the best, but I like that. What is best sandwich? So we're going to stick with that. What is best sandwich?
So the East Coast girl in me is like Philly cheesesteaks.
Okay.
But then at the same time, so every time I go to the sandwich place that's by where we work, I always get the same sandwich.
Okay.
So I get a honey smoked turkey with cranberry sauce, and lettuce, Swiss cheese, and then the bread either becomes like right now it's Dutch crunch, but it used to be like a French roll.
No, where's this at?
I don't even. We all call it differently, like RJ's and Barcadero.
Okay, down there in the corner. All right, yeah.
I don't know what it actually is called.
Okay, I don't know the name of that place either.
Yeah.
I buy eggs or bananas there every morning. I have no idea what that store is called.
Because when we started working there, like Nick Scarpino and them would call it the Embarcadero or something.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so I didn't know what the name was. And then I'd say that, and a year later, new people come
I think
in.
B used to call it RJ's, but I don't know if that place has a name. Well, anyway, so once more, describe the sandwich. It is a
honey smoked turkey with cranberry sauce, Swiss cheese, and lettuce. And mayo.
That sounds delicious.
Mm-hmm. I think of it as like a Thanksgiving sandwich.
I like how you put it. It is a Thanksgiving sandwich.
I mean, if there was stuffing there, I would add it. Like, seriously.
Stuffing sandwich.
Yeah.
Delicious stuffing sandwich. Oh, man, that's a delicious, that sounds wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best song written in the last 100 years?
Crap. So I had told Jared earlier that I was going to say Moonlight Sonata, but then I was like, that's a long time ago.
Way more than 100 years.
Way more than 100 years ago. I'm going to go by the one that just popped into my head, which is Power by Kanye West.
Power by Kanye West.
Yeah, I just like how, like, I also love music videos, so if you've seen the music video to that song, it's just very, like, simple, and it's just, like, it's like the camera slowly pulling in or pulling out, and then, like, I don't know. It's just, like, the song is really awesome.
No, I love a good music video. I'm with you there. And so, okay, cool. So that's your pick there. What's the first word you think of when you hear the sound of your own voice?
Ugh.
Ugh. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Crap. Rocky.
No, crap is not your favorite flavor of ice cream.
Ugh.
That's like an every flavored bean flavor of ice cream. What'd you say?
Rocky Road.
Rocky Road?
Wait, what is it?
That's from Goonies.
I haven't seen Goonies in a while. Don't judge me.
You haven't seen Goonies?
No, I've seen it. I haven't seen it in a while. I own it because my older sister was like, here, it's the DVD.
Yeah, Goonies some good stuff, man.
Yeah,
Rocky Road, that is a great ice cream.
It used to be Neapolitan, which I used to call Napoleon ice cream for a very long time.
Napoleon ice cream? I thought it was supposed to be the French flag when I was a kid, and I thought it was Napoleon ice cream, too.
That would have been a very tasty flag.
That would have been, I wish I could eat the French flag. It'd be so good. If you could travel through time and meet anybody, who would you visit? Yep, anybody you can visit.
Can I pick two?
Nope.
Can I pick two?
Okay. See, we run a tight ship around here. Two.
Okay, so it's two for two separate reasons. That's what I'm saying.
Go for it.
So the first one I'm going to say is Sally Menke, who used to be Quentin Tarantino's video editor. When I was in grad school, there was this, one of the teachers was like, hey, if you really want to get into this field or really want to understand, somebody, just send a letter or an email to your favorite editor, the position you want to have. And so I really wanted to send a letter to Sally Menke, but she passed away by the time that I was like ready to write this letter. It was sudden. Like it was like she was hiking, and I think it was just hot exhaustion. She was like hiking and
heat exhaustion. Did she?
What did I say? Hot exhaustion.
Hot exhaustion. Either way, no, it works one way or the other. Hot exhaustion sounds like a great like album from like the late '80s or something.
Yeah.
So what was the last film she edited, like in the Tarantino?
So I might be wrong on this, because it might be Inglourious Bastards, but it might be. I think it.
She did Kill Bill, though, right?
Yeah, she did Kill Bill, and that's kind of, I think, where it started for me.
Yeah,
as far
editing-wise, those two are my favorite.
Yeah, like they're fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, and who's the other?
So, I would want to meet my Aunt Barbara, who was my dad's sister, who died when they were kids. And I would just because I know my other uncles and aunts, but I just wanted to, I want to see what she was like.
She's a person that only exists in stories?
Yeah. And she passed away from leukemia. She passed away from cancer when she was I think 13. Wow. I'm a little fuzzy on the age, but she was really young. And so I don't know.
Be you and a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's kind of how that works.
Yeah.
Kind of travel thing. No, that'd be kind of amazing, actually.
Oh,
what's the most terrifying creature in the natural world?
Spiders.
Oh, we have that's a popular choice.
Can I curse?
If you wish.
Fuck spiders. No. I get it, but no. I don't like them.
Spiders look at you like they would eat you if they were big enough.
Yeah, well, the summer before I moved here, I got bit in my sleep by one. I thought it was a mosquito. I had to get a tetanus shot. I know.
Wait, you got a tetanus shot for a spider?
They didn't know. Well, I have this little scar here, and I don't know what it was because I was sleeping, because that's where everybody asked me. And then yeah, and they just it had a little pus, and they cut it open to make sure my skin wasn't being eaten out of,
like necrotic or something.
Yeah, they want to make sure it was like a brown recluse,
right?
And so then yeah,
that's so gross.
What's weird is I love eating crabs, but I hate watching them move because they move just like spiders.
Oh yeah, they're very spider-like. Oh man, no! When I was in Osaka Aquarium, there's big, giant, huge, deep water crabs there, and they shuffle and just be like, "You are night," and then they open their mouths and they have little claws inside their mouths.
And it's so fascinating because you look. It's I'm assuming this is how you experience looking at crabs. You're just oh, this is cool. Oh god,
yes,
that's literally what happens.
Back to Delaware, man. You know those horseshoe crabs on your beaches?
Oh my god, so many.
They're legion.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were here before humans existed.
Oh yeah, they were. Actually, horseshoe crabs are ancient.
Oh yeah, right. They were here with the dinosaurs.
Yeah, they're
we were
really,
besties.
really old. It's just like this guy. Yeah. Still naming this guy, by the way.
Oh, I don't know what to name him.
Anybody gives us suggestions? We'd love to hear.
Bob.
So we've heard plates. We've heard Bob. What's your favorite word?
Oh man, flabbergasted.
Oh, that's a good one.
I just like how it just sounds and how you say it.
It's a great
But it's
word.
also a good word.
It's a wonderful word. Who was your first kiss?
Peck or?
It's up to you. I mean, we're generally counting real kisses, but it's up to you.
Oh, pecks aren't real kisses?
Well, it depends. Pecks are real kisses. I mean, my first kiss I was 5 years old when my first one that counts. But I mean, we smooched. We smooched at recess.
Recess?
Yeah.
8th grade.
Okay.
His name was Brandon. I wasn't allowed to have boyfriends until I was 16, sort of. But, in middle school, you have boyfriends.
Right, that's how it works.
And girlfriends, yeah.
You're kind of feeling that whole thing out, figuring out how it works.
So we started dating, I think, in the 8th grade. And then basically other classmates told us we were supposed to kiss, so we did.
How was it?
It was weird. I mean, it was fine, I guess.
Where were you?
In the hallway. In the stairwell.
In the stairwell at school?
Yeah.
His name was Brandon?
Yeah.
What's he up to now?
I mean, we're friends on Facebook.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I don't hate him.
What's up, Brandon?
So,
Cake or pie?
cake.
Yeah? Is it even close?
So the only sweet pie I like is apple pie, and then I love savory pies. Like I love chicken pot pie, shepherd's pie. I love those. I love meat pies, but cake is like one of those things that I've always loved.
What's for your money? Like, what's the best cake?
My older sister makes a really good carrot cake, so I really love carrot cakes. I got into this show called The British Baking Show.
Oh, I don't know the show.
It's on Netflix, but it only has one season on Netflix, but I think it shows on PBS. And it had Baked Alaska.
I love Baked Alaska.
So my mom has a KitchenAid, which is very clutch. So when I went home for Christmas and my birthday this past holiday season, I told my mom I wanted to make a Baked Alaska. So I did.
How did that turn out?
Actually, really well. So my mom's a really good cook and baker. So she made. The cake I wanted to make was, I wanted my mom to make a coconut cake.
Yeah.
I made mango ice cream from scratch, and then we bought vanilla ice cream. Which, if or whenever I make another Baked Alaska, I'm just going to make both ice creams.
Yeah.
Because.
For people who don't understand Baked Alaska, like it's a hot cold dish. Like it's a hot cake covered in cold stuff.
Yeah,
like,
and then I made Swiss meringue. So I was nervous because I'm really weird about eggs, and so like I also never had made meringue before. So
when you say you're really weird about eggs, you like flee from them in terror when you see them?
Like I don't. I don't know if it's a texture. No, so like eggs in general, like I can eat them, but they have to be like scrambled hard. They can't be wet. They make me sick.
You don't like the texture.
But also like cracking the egg. Sometimes I feel weird about touching it. So I mean,
I love you.
It's a chicken embryo.
It is a chicken embryo. It's kind of gross when you think about it.
Yeah. So like sometimes I'm weird about it, but I made this Swiss meringue, which it was hard because I wanted to make a particular Baked Alaska, so I had to find recipes from separate things. My mom could make the coconut ice cream from her head, so
but you did it without melting it. Like you actually pulled it off.
So we baked the cake. It took 2 days because I wanted the ice cream to make sure it was firm.
Yeah.
And the vanilla ice cream was Haagen-Dazs, which tastes really good. But when I baked it with the meringue on top, the vanilla ice cream was the one that was melting the quickest.
Yeah.
The mango was fine. So like, if I bake it again, I'm going to get one of those fire torches.
Yeah.
To burn the meringue a little bit. I'm not going to put it in the oven again.
Yeah. It's because Baked Alaska again, just like if you've never had it, it is succulent.
It was
sweet perfection.
Yeah,
so good.
If you have a KitchenAid, I'll make it.
We're going to talk about that. Oh yeah, the oven's been on for a while. We never put the taiyaki in.
Oh no! I'm glad because for a minute I thought taiyaki was in there. I was like, oh
no! You brought taiyaki over. If you never had taiyaki, that's a fish made of dough and red bean paste. And, it's good.
And I also got taro, but I never. That's like sweet potato.
Taro?
Yeah. Right?
What, taro? That's emo sweet potato.
Oh, okay. So I've never had taro before.
I'm very excited about it. All right, so.
Sorry.
That's okay. Final question. Which question do you have for me?
Oh, God, I don't know.
Well, you think about that, and I'll read the mail.
Yes.
While you're doing that. So, guys, here's some of the messages for tonight. Just a few thank you messages sent in from the Pockets Full of Soup crowd. By the way, you guys can send your own messages in by mailing mail at pocketsfullofsoup.com. That's mail at pocketsfullofsoup.com. Here's a few. From Joey Bruno, I'm thankful for my roommate Kelsey and all the ways that she makes me a better person and opens my eyes to new adventures with glee. From Michael Fitzgerald, I'd like to thank Sean Twisters. He was the first member of the Kinda Funny community I met, and he made me feel like a best friend. Yeah, Sean's all right, isn't he? Do you know Sean?
Sean at our office, Sean?
Yeah, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Sean a lot. Sean's going to be on the show eventually, probably sooner than later. So we're going to be filming that very soon. From Eric, I'd like to thank my partner, Jordan. We've been together for a year. So that's his partner at Crash Jordan, a.k.a. Jordan. We've been together for a year. Congratulations, Eric and Jordan.
Congratulations.
That's awesome. From Chelsea Buckner, the podcasts at IGN and Kinda Funny. She's thankful for. You guys have gotten me through a lot in 10 years, including my father's death. Sincerely, thank you. Well, thank you very much, Chelsea. From Mark, thankful for my dad because he's responsible for every good bone in my body. I cherish every single minute I have with him. Dads are popular here.
Dads are pretty cool.
Dads can be great, yeah. Sometimes dad's not so cool, but most of the time, I was lucky. I have a good dad.
Yeah.
John is thankful for thankful for my wife. She doesn't have it easy, but she's a great mom and wife, and I'm thankful for IGN for giving me free entertainment. I am thankful for IGN for giving me free entertainment and a job. So
Thanks, job.
Yeah, thanks, job. Exactly. Okay, so that's some of tonight's. Again, keep sending them in, guys. We can't read them all every week, but we'd love to read yours. Once again, mail at pocketsfullsoup.com. You can also reach us on the Pockets Full of Soup Facebook group. You can tweet me at PettyCommaJared, and I hope you will. You can reach out to us in the comments on YouTube. Subscribe at YouTube. We always welcome that. And, of course, patreon.com/JaredPetty, where you can support the show directly. And that's a good community of folks there as well. And, pocketsfullofsoup.com is there, too. So
support Jared.
They're a generous community, and they really, really do. So, what's the question you got for me, Khalilah?
If you and Angie could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
Okay, now you're making it difficult, because if it's I and Angie, it's a different answer.
Oh,
yeah, because
both yours and then both.
Okay, well, I'd go back to Japan.
You go back to Japan?
Yeah, I'd go back to rural Japan. I would go back to Tokai. I would live in the mountains up near Gifu. I would live in that area. I have never loved a place more than the cedar forests up by the Nagaragawa River. Up in the mountains.
Ooh. Does the cedar smell?
Yeah. Every day.
I love that smell.
It wafts in everywhere. It's just the sound of the wind in the trees and the smell of the cedar and the most clear and beautiful river you can imagine in the middle of these pristine mountains. It is the most beautiful place I've ever lived. And I've lived in Western North Carolina, which is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Gifu is somehow even prettier. But if it's Angie and Angie enjoys Japan as well, but would not want to live there again, I think, for an extended period. So the answer to that one is Luxembourg. Angie has been captivated by Luxembourg. The existence of this tiny, tiny European city and a tiny, tiny European nation for as long as she's been alive. And I would love to give her that dream. I'd like to live in Europe. I think it would be neat to live in central continental Europe and experience that. So I think that if we're her and I together to Luxembourg, we would go.
Nice. Where is it at? Because I feel like I've seen it on a map, but it's like really tiny in between all of the countries.
Yeah, no, it's kind of Central Europe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's West Central Europe, like on that end, over Germany way, in that area. So, but yeah, that's a place that just living. When I was a kid, I used to want to live in Andorra, the tiny nation between Spain and France.
Okay.
I like tiny nations, but I think Angie and I together, it would probably be Luxembourg. Florence would be another one I might be able to sell Angie on. I want to live in the city that produced Dante and Da Vinci.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, one town produces those two people, or something something in the water.
I want to move to the town that Nicolas Cage. Just kidding. We share the same birthday. But
you and Nick Cage have the same birthday?
Yeah, January 7th.
Yeah, you and I we're very close on birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to have a birthday spectacular.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. Once again, if you subscribe on YouTube, it really helps. I know everyone on YouTube asks you to subscribe. There's a reason for that. It's helpful, so please do so if you can. You can find us on iTunes or on various Google or sundry podcast services. Subscriptions there help, as do ratings, rankings and ratings, star ratings, and written reviews. Hey, okay, so that's the part where I shill, but really, thank you so much for being a part of this. We will see you next time, and until then, bye-bye.
Adios.